Hello everybody and welcome back to a beautiful Friday here in Westman. I don't know if you can hear it off in the distance. I'm clearly not the only one running chores today, but as is becoming a bit of a tradition here, it's Friday, so we're going to take a look at the chili peppers growing around the garden. And I could kind of use some advice on the Aji Ahuachapan, so we're going to start there today. So just today I added the black trays here underneath it because I've noticed when watering I'm losing a lot of water just like right through there. So that's kind of a waste. Don't really need the lawn growing, don't care how well it does. But I came out the other day and this was really wilty. So yeah, in deep watering it I noticed most of it was going through. Results from that though is these peppers, a lot of them kind of started to dry on the plant. And because of that now we're seeing a little bit more coloration going on. Hopefully that's coming up well in the camera, starting to get a little orange there. And I noticed on this one here, hopefully that's coming up as well. There's another little tiny spot of orange on that. But I'm wondering, should I pull these ones off that have started to dry? Because they're clearly not, well, going to grow anymore. I mean, I say clearly, but I question mark that, right? So are they going to grow? Should I leave them on there? I'm going to leave them on for now. Look forward to a few comments after I get this up and running on the interwebs there. And hopefully you can help me figure out what's going on. The rest of the plant seems to be just fine. I mean, these other peppers, the new peppers, you know, that one's doing all right, that one's doing all right, that one's doing fantastic. Lots of new flowers on here. Would have thought those would have fallen off as a result of its personal drought, but no, it rated moisture from the fruit. So yes, today's question, to take or to leave. So panning just to the right of that is the El Oro. This also got very dry, but I did finally water it with a batch of nutrients. Those keeping track. It is the Miracle Grow tomato and vegetable food, and I don't really have a problem with that. In this particular case, this is an old plant in some very tired soil. Got a nice trunk on that baby though. I mean, look at that. Try and compare that for you. That's nice. I sure hope I can keep this puppy around for yet another season. We'll see. I mean, it doesn't look fantastic with all these leaves on there, but they break off nice and easy. Looking at the top, there's plenty of new growth, new flowers, new peppers. None of these are, you know, fully proper changing color yet. I do see a few hints of lightening on them, so perhaps those areas that are becoming a lighter green will soon become that lovely little yellow. Yes, this El Oro is doing fantastic. Oh, do you hear that inside? The dog has learned exactly where to whine out the open window for maximum leverage. Anyway, I'm looking at this plant in real life, and it seems an awful lot greener than it looks on the lens here. So just gonna have to have faith. Trust me, it's doing all right. See the other one we got up here, the Aji Calabaza. This is starting to get fairly productive. This is one of our first peppers here. Don't have any color on that. Not quite sure what color it's supposed to go to though. So I'll have to Google that a little bit later on. Again, this one got really dry, so it's got an underwater container now as well. Figured that's not an issue with the El Oro because it's already got the little 3-gallon pail there. And then for railroad tie peppers up front, that brings us to the 2016 Sand Dollar, which is doing all right. Fly on my nose, that's pretty rude. Got a lot of little flower starts in there, some slightly larger ones. Got one kind of bent over there. Might see fruit from this. I don't know if they'll have time to ripen outdoors, but I think we all know I'm gonna try and bring this indoors. Probably shouldn't, but I'm probably gonna. So looking at the ones in the soil here, also up in the front of the house, this is the Matchbox Pepper, and I'm absolutely certain this camera's not gonna do that justice, but you see how many peppers are on this crazy little beast? I think it might be vying for an attempt at overwintering too. I am blown away by the growth since this has come outside, and summer has set in. There is an explosion of pods going on there, so clearly it's a happy little plant. So we'll see. Oh, and I'm looking over from this angle. I don't normally check out the paper lantern from over here. Do you see what I see? Right there, hiding in the middle, I have a secret habanero. I believe the paper lantern is a variety of habanero anyway. Kind of discussed with Shocks and Fuzzy about the idea of doing habanero poppers. Something that came up in a conversation ages ago, back on one of the hangouts with, I believe it was between Rev Toast Rob and Charles P there. But yes, habanero poppers, bump it up another level. I think that's got a good shape for it. Won't hold a lot of cream cheese, but it's about adding heat, not cheese. And the last one of the soil-bound peppers we have up front is the Red Demon. Lots of slender, spiky little peppers on here. And if I recall, these will go as red as that cup right there. I guess I don't really need the cups anymore, because I seem to be pretty sure of what these plants are. Kind of looking a little frat house out here. Probably get rid of them in the next little while. One never knows for sure though. But yeah, this Red Demon is looking good. A lot of productivity there. So I'm kind of excited about, you know, just what's going on in the front yard. Might actually get a bit of a harvest this year. Not related to chilies, but how about that chard and kale forest, eh? We'll take a quick look at the Trolls Garden peppers here before we move on to the proper pepper patch, which I did mow for this week, so they look so perky after a little mow job. Guess peppers are boys. Anyway, here we've got the Sugar Rush Cream. Snap, crackle, and pop go my knees there. Yeah, you might be getting a little older, Mr. Bear. I don't care. Anyway, got a lot of interesting looking little peppers on here. They don't really look like the Sugar Rush peppers that are growing on the peach, but I mean, it is a different variety. May have crossed with something. Lots of little ones forming further up the plant. So even though it's in a coffee can, it's been knocked over, it's been deprived of nutrients, it's struggled, this one of the four is doing great. This one is not. I don't know. I think it's going the way of the so-called super chili, which I still think may have been a Red Demon. Anyway, this one's definitely toast. Brings us to the Ahi lemon drop. Get out of the way here. And we can see a few flowers starting to form on this poor struggling plant. So hopefully I'll have the opportunity to try these. I mean, Rob Z speaks very, very highly of them. So, and yeah, how much better do these look after a nice shaving of the lawn around them? A little easier to get a look at what's growing on now. Does look a little barren around them. Cut it a little bit too low. Apparently one is basically shaving my lawn. Here we have one of the hot lemons. It's starting to form something there. But I think it's the next. Yes, it is the next one. This is also a hot lemon, and there you go. So I'm curious, is this what I should expect on that lemon drop? Something similar to that? Because many of you know my cynical theories on companies just giving it a new name and claiming it's their own variation. So here we have another lemon drop. All three of these came from the same pod, from the same plant purchased at Home Depot. It only gave me like one or two, so didn't really have a lot of options there. This one is exploding with flowers though. So if the season continues the way it has been, I am very excited about this one could produce. Very excited indeed. Speaking of excited and exciting, and now I notice something less than exciting. That's animal damage. I did not do that with the lawnmower. Oh, grr, says Mr. Bear. Yeah, look at that. You thieving little boogers. Well, something's going to have to be done about that, because that was a cue pepper, and it was very promising. It's a nice looking one there too. Not quite sure how large to expect these to get, but it's peach, so pretty familiar with that from living in the valley. I know what peach looks like. So if they get there, I'm picking that one. Got the Sugar Rush Red over here. Got one less than shining example of a leaf on there we'll pull off today. But up at the top we are seeing flowers busting out all over the place. Lots of them starting to hang down. Got some more in the middle here that are kind of hanging down. So those should be opening up soon. We get to see little pepper bombs on there in the next, I don't know, I'll say 1 or 2 weeks. Be hopeful. We got one of the Aji Pennics. I'm going to call it an Aji Pennic variety, because it doesn't really look like the plant beside it, nor does it look like the one in the dungeon. But it's got little tiny pepper bombs on there. Kind of hoping with some of the discoveries I've made recently that I'll find some massive pepper growing under here, but lots of flowers, both open and closed. So there's a lot of potential on that. Over here on the other Aji Pennic variant, last time I checked I still had 2 peppers growing on here. Starting to see some more open flowers on the top, so that's good. Some more that have started to drop and droop over. That's excellent. Oh, I got worried I didn't feel it. This one's coming along nicely. I think Pennics go are red, so that's kind of what I'm waiting for here. That one's coming along fairly well. So yeah, that's going to be nice. And it started to kick into gear again, so that's good. I was a little worried that some of these were pretty much done for me. Like that so-called super chili. Now that so-called super chili, which, yep, I still think is a garden salsa, may start referring to it as a garden salsa. Definitely still putting on peppers for me. That is absolutely fabulous. Very excited about that. More flowers as I go further up the plant. See, that's another sign that it is one of those garden salsa peppers, because those things were super productive here in the Manitoba growing climate. Beside that, we've got the Aji Guyana, which I still think is a very dainty looking pepper plant. Look at the flower. Awful lot of petals on that. So I guess I'm looking forward to a big fat pepper. I don't know. I could research these things beforehand, but that kind of takes half the fun out of it. I figure you guys send me these seeds, you want me to explore growing them. You know, if I research it, I ruin the surprise somewhat. So, yeah. We've got the row of sand dollars. Looking pretty good for the most part. None of those are producing flowers or pods yet. So we can, nice sad little Scotch bonnet. So far the current recommendation, and I'm kind of leaning towards doing it, is to pull this guy out, put it into a hydroponic system. Something like a crack key, but it kind of sounds more like deep water culture because there's a bubbler in there. But apparently the individual who suggested this was dealing with a similar issue on a once aphid infested pepper. We switched it over and now it's doing fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, trying to make up for its buddy beside it, we've got the prize winning sand dollar. And at the top of that plant, there's definitely a flower that is bent over. Come on, focus, little camera. I know I've got glare, but work with me. Hopefully you can see that in focus. Camera's giving me grief. See a couple of flowers on the top of that. Bent over at least, they'll be open soon. We've got the soil-bound Sugar Rush cream here. Looking alright. As we get closer and take a deeper look, we can see there's a little pepper already starting to form on this one. I've got quite a few flowers that are bent over. So it looks like even here in Manitoba, these Sugar Rush peppers are pretty productive, assuming you start them at the right time. I started these probably way too early, and yet still they're struggling. But I think that's because of dungeon growing conditions, so there's more work to be done there. Sliding over, we've got another one of the red demons. Not a lot to email home about on that one, but we will step over to this red demon, who is being nicely productive. This particular plant is being wonderfully productive. But this, I don't know, seems a little thick for a red demon pepper, so again, I have a case of questionable origins. So we'll have to see what it is when it fully finishes producing. I am going to wait for some sort of red on that. And it is what it is, you know? Surprisingly, for how many pepper seed starts I lost this year, the ones that made it out, lived through the trauma and the drama, seem to be doing alright. So the only chili pepper that really leaves us here is this poor, ravaged specimen of an ahi pineapple. Not sure it's gonna make it, but then again, it's growing in the wild jungle experiment. It's getting a little crazy. The burrs are a little too developed for my happiness. Not sure how much longer this is going to go on. Did a little selective weeding so the beans can get some better light in there. I don't think we can see them, but that's not pepper related anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Alright everybody, so forgive the sweaty glaze. It's a nice beautiful day out here, so that means it's kind of warm, and of course I have spent it primarily out in the sun so far, because that's what I do. Anywho, that's our wrap up today. I'm hoping that we're going to get to working on the roof, on the addition tomorrow. So I honestly don't know if there's going to be a tomato update or not. Might be a roof update. I don't know. I just want to get that thing done. And, well, doing videos slows the process down. So, yeah, sooner that's done, sooner these trees can come down, the pepper grove can extend all the way to the road. It's going to be fabulous. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. I'll definitely see you Sunday with a full garden update. One way or another, I'll see you then.